Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses, such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use: amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. Under this factor, courts look at both the quantity and quality of the copyrighted material that was used. If the use includes a large portion of the copyrighted work, fair use is less likely to be found. If the use employs only a small amount of copyrighted material, fair use is more likely. That said, some courts have found use of an entire work to be fair under certain circumstances. And in other contexts, using even a small amount of a copyrighted work was determined not to be fair because the selection was an important part, or the heart, of the work.
Welcome to the broadcast. This is a source of information on all things related to commercial appliances. Welcome all of you that are new to commercial and those of you well-versed in this industry of ours. Your host is Mike Reed, a technician who has been in the industry for 32 years, with his beginnings working in his family's appliance business based out of the western suburbs of Chicago. Get ready for a truly interactive broadcast. Have all your questions ready and prepare yourself to truly engage with Mike and discuss ideas on all things related to commercial appliances. Without further delay, here is your host.
Come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday, someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday. When I lay my work by, I've a home in the sky. For there will come a payday someday, where no interest comes due or notes to renew. Oh, there will come a payday someday. Here I work every day for such bigger pay, but there will come a payday someday. And the title's not clear to the home I own here, but there will come a payday someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday, someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday.
Life got you feeling down? Baby Billy's Health Elixir will lift you up. Heal the spirit to heal the body.
Colds, flus, streps, even COVIDs, every disease cured with ease by this blessed formula based on ancient scripture. You just drink this tasty coconut silkiness every morning, and that's it. Done. $100 for a 1-month jug. Additional jugs only $65 a pop, and I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless, and I want to heal as many people as the dear Lord lets me.
Baby Billy's Health Elixir, a miracle in a bottle. Not approved.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. This is Mike Reed, here to bring you along on everything related to commercial appliances, restaurants, grocery stores, hotels, convenience stores, and everything else you could think of. Hold on, let me get this music right. I'm gonna let a couple of people come in here. We're starting a little bit early, but that's all right. That's why we're doing that. I'm gonna say thank you to the people who contributed last show. Those are just a few of the people. Hold on one second. Let me see who else I got to thank. Yeah, thank Michael Adams. Oh, I got to thank Miss Melissa Alves. Hold on one second. Got her stuff set up here too. Oh, I got a banner for her. That's what I got. All right, we're gonna get into the show. We're gonna talk about money. So there's no way around it. We're gonna talk about money and things that you need to be doing if you aren't already doing it. I say a quarter of you are probably doing it. I always thought it was kind of petty and in bad taste, and I got a guy on YouTube who says the same thing. But it's necessary, especially when money get funny. It's necessary. All right, hold on. Let me see here, and I gotta thank another person. I don't have a banner for him. So all of you that are coming to the show. Oh, let me start Instagram in a second. There we go. All right. So now Instagram is on. Whoa. All right. Hold on one second. I'm adding the name of a person who contributed. All right. All right, cool. I got him down. I want to thank that brother too for contributing to the show, and anybody who gave a super chat. I am now remonetized. I'm out of YouTube jail. So if you did want to give a super chat or any other kind of stuff, I am now able to accept them. A couple more seconds. But what we're going to get into is
this place right here. Expect to bring cash because they're going to charge you if you use your credit card or your debit card. So just to let you.
So what you saw in that video is the credit card charges, the convenience fees. So we're going to get into that, and I want to apologize. I don't have my Keurig Dr. Pepper loaded up. Keurig Dr. Pepper has now jumped to the number 2 position. Number 2. So it's Coke, then it's Keurig Dr. Pepper. All right. Ranking, hold on, let me see here. Versus Coke. All right, so while we getting this thing started, let me add yet another screen. I'm gonna bring in some stuff from some YouTube gurus. I got an interview between Mark the Mentor and a caller that I thought was relevant. So here we got a little bit on Coke remains the top beverage company in the United States, closely followed by Pepsi. Keurig Dr. Pepper ranks 3rd, but the latest industry news is that Keurig Dr. Pepper is now number 2. Coca-Cola remains in its position as the market leader, but Keurig Dr. Pepper is a strong contender with a diverse portfolio. So what? And I'm actually drinking one of the Keurig Dr. Pepper items. They bought into some of the health food stuff, and one of those is Ghost. So I'm actually drinking one of the Ghost energy shakes. I've been told I'm too thin. My neck looks thin. So what the hell? You know, that's what happens when you got family watching you on the interwebs. All right, so we didn't mess around long enough. Let's see here. Let me start off by playing a couple videos. And here's a
businesses it says surcharge, and I see certain business that says convenience fee. If you have a business that has a large average ticket, then you would do a surcharge. The rules are that you cannot go over 3%. If you're an auto repair shop charging $1,000 invoice, customer is going to pay $30. If you are in a business that does a lot of small transactions under a certain dollar amount on an average ticket, the percentage is not going to be much. Instead of doing the surcharge as a percentage, they're doing a convenience fee. Man, I see certain businesses that says customer is going to pay $30. If you are in a business that does a lot of small transactions under a certain dollar amount on an average ticket, the percentage is not going to be much. Instead of doing the surcharge as a percentage, they're doing a convenience fee. Man, I see certain businesses that says.
All right, so this is something that the large service companies always, you know, they've done this ever since it's been legal. This is now legal in all but 3 states for the United States of America, and then we'll jump into that. So I recently instituted this. I don't have any customers that pay me cash, and occasionally I have a customer that pays me by Zelle. But for the lion's share of my clientele, it is credit card.
Or whether independent retailers should pass along credit card charges.
Brother Charles, what's happening?
You know, typically it's 3% or 3.5%. It's added to the bill if a customer chooses to use a credit card. Now, I'm going to add 2 things to that bucket. These are little things that sort of tie into
I already
this
said the
whole
fair
credit
use
card
disclaimer, by the way.
conversation. Another thing that I'm going to add to that bucket is there has to be a minimum purchase to use your credit card. You have to spend $10 if you're going to use a credit card. Otherwise, you have to pay cash. The third one, and this is a lot.
Oh, fun fact. Brother Charles is on here. Hey, Brother Charles, you have it in Square where you can add the convenience fee to your credit card processing. So you don't even, it's just a setting in Square. They got a whole bunch of tutorials on it on YouTube. And they actually have some stuff on, some other services are doing the same thing where they're instituting a feature where they're automatically doing the 3% convenience fee.
More benign, but I think it's still not good, is the whole idea of asking people to pay with cash.
That's how I used to be.
A discount if they pay with cash rather than a credit card. So all of those are in the bucket. So let's
that's long gone. That's old.
Conversations here. 2 things to think about. The first thing is this: that whenever I have these sort of controversial conversations, I always preface them with this idea that you are a business owner. And as a business owner, you have every right to do whatever you want to do. So as a business owner, you have a right to charge your customers 3% to use their credit cards. This is the beautiful thing about owning your business. However, you also get to live with the consequence of your decisions. You make the right decision.
Damn right.
You get the benefits of that decision. You make the wrong decision, you suffer the consequence of that wrong decision. But the beautiful thing is it's your decision. The other thing that I want to talk about real quickly here before we get into the exploration is that I am a small business person just like you. And that we take credit cards just like you. Almost all of our sales are credit card sales. So I know some of you may be watching me exploring this conversation, exploring this idea, and go, Bob, you don't understand. But I'm making this clarification because I do understand. We run a lot of volume. Thankfully, a lot of
We got 3 likes. Hit the likes
through
button.
our credit card processor. So I know your pain. I feel your pain. And I'm coming at it as a small business person just like you. So the short answer, should you, as an independent retailer, pass along credit card charges? The short answer is no. The long answer, should you, as an independent retailer, pass along credit card charges? Hell no. Just don't do it. Let's look at this thing from a customer experience perspective. You know, if you've been part of our community, you know I talk about this idea of WWMCW. What would my customer want?
Man, I used to feel this way.
I don't think your customer wants to pay an extra 3% to make up for your credit card processing expense.
Hold on. I can't take it anymore. Hold on 1 second. Let me add this. Oh, I think I might have to. Where did I stop off at? 3 minutes and 50. All right, let me add another screen. Let me help you guys out with something. So I used to be against this, and this is the maximum allowable is 3%. Right, that is the 3%, and that is technically called a convenience fee. That is the legal term. If you call it something else, you'll be in a bit of an issue. So let's just say and this is gross. This is a gross number. So this is the raw number that you're bringing in. And let's just say, so I'm going to go in the middle. Not going to go on the high end, and I'm not going to go some low end $85,000 number. So let's just say you're bringing in 200,000 gross. This is before you're paying for parts. This is before you're paying for gas. This is the raw number coming in. All right, times 0.03. So that is $6,000. So you are actually leaving $6,000 on the table. Well, baby Billy, why you do it then? Well, I don't charge the $6,000 because I'm selfless. But we're not baby Billy now, are we? We're not baby Billy. Yo, yes, sir. Yeah, you charge that 3.5%. Yeah, that is only on credit card charges. They charge me a fee also, but some vendors don't even tell you. Yeah, you went to to 2 weekends ago and they charge 12%. Now that's a different fee. That is on the weekends. That's a different thing. That is like a resort fee. Like I said, these terms have meaning. These terms have meaning, but yes, that's essentially, that's what I'm talking about here. All right, so let me go into this other one. So there are 2 different fees. There is the convenience fee. And I don't now see, that is the part where it's a little murky though, whether you can go over the 3%. And now there's a situation where you're not supposed to charge this convenience fee if they are using a debit card. So cash, you don't charge it. Check, you don't charge it. Zelle, Venmo, you don't charge it. But you and you don't charge it on a debit. Businesses use a convenience fee. Let me see here. I can get into the legal part of it. So some places you can go up. Now, see, this is varying. So it says that convenience fees are legal in all 50 states. I get a couple of, I've been looking this up, and there are like 3 different states where that's kind of iffy about the convenience fee. All right, vendor credit card fees. Now, how many of you see it is, so you can get away with it if you are charging, I forgot what the hell what is this one that they call it? The credit card transaction fee. If you are charging this one, you can go up to 3.5. If you're doing the convenience fee, it is capped at 3%. So vendor credit card, such as a merchant fees, you can do up to 3.5. So the vendor merchant fees, that's when it gets a little murky. Oh, Mike Adams, what's happening? Yeah, so they have the convenience fee, and they have a lot of other stuff. Yeah, a lot of people don't tip, so they add that in. Brother Frank, what's happening? So I'm like that guy who was just on, and I thought it was petty until you started going over the numbers. People are pretty much used to this fee. That information that he gave is a little dated, even though his video was only from like 2 years ago. I feel like his information is a little dated. So is it legal to charge 3% on credit card purchases? Yes. All right, so I guess it's going up to a 4%. So you're going to have to check for your state what is legal. Because yes, certain reward cards are going to charge you more than 3%, and they're going to have other fees in addition to that. So there is the credit card fee, and then there is the convenience fee. And convenience fee, as far as I know, it's supposed to be capped at 3%, but that's where you're going to have to talk to someone to verify. If you can go over that, like I said, the issue is you can't charge on cash, you can't charge on check. Oh, nice. Yeah, brother Frank. Yeah, my wife loves going up there to the casinos, man. She loves the casinos. So I'm gonna go back to this. So with 6,000, there's quite a bit you could do with recouping $6,000. Even if we're gonna chop that in half. We're gonna chop that in half. So let's just say you're doing 100,000 and you're recouping times 0.03% on the credit card transactions. That's still $3,000. Now, what can you do? What can you do in your business with $3,000? So whether it's $3,000 or $6,000, you could recoup quite a few expenses. $3,000, it can cover some maintenance costs on your service, at least on one service vehicle for the year. So that's quite a bit. $3,000 if you're only doing 100,000 gross, not the 200,000. The 200,000 that ups it to $6,000. But if you're doing, let's just say you're starting out, you're just doing 100,000 gross. That is all the money coming in before the expenses, before you pay for your parts, before you pay for everything else, because nobody else cares. They're going to charge you that anyway. They're going to charge you that anyway. This is something that you're looking at, that you're going to need to recoup for office space. Even if you don't have an office, if you're doing storage, you can add this. So I just recently started to reinstitute that into my business.
So now think about this for a moment. Let's say that Indy comes into my store and my team gives her a great experience. You know, we've got a great store like you do. It's well merchandised. It's got the right.
How would you? Okay, the only way you can do, once again, Higgins Appliance Repair. This is on credit card payments. The convenience fee, it is only on credit card. It's illegal to charge this on cash. It's illegal to charge this on check. All right. This only applies to recouping your credit card transaction fees. So if you're billing warranty and they are paying you by check or they're paying you through ACH, it's illegal for you to charge them a convenience fee or a credit card processing fee because they're not paying you that way.
Inventory levels. Indy does a great job. She brings me to the counter, and at the end of an otherwise fantastic experience, I see I have to pay more.
Yeah, you got to pay more.
So does that make me happy? Does that make me enthusiastic? Does that make me want to shop more? Or does that make me feel like I'm being nickeled and dimed?
I don't care.
I can tell you the answer. That makes me feel like I'm being nickeled and dimed. Recognize this. Your customers don't care about your costs. They just want to feel really good about shopping with you. And at the very end of the transaction, after the whole thing's said and done, you're sitting at the counter. You want to be able to hand that person the bag or the box, look them in the eye, and know they're leaving happy. But if they stand at the counter and then you charge them more, it just feels, I don't even know the right word, it just feels a little dirty. And that's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Because I feel that way every time I get charged.
I used to feel that way until credit card charges ended up being the lion's share of my transactions. 90% of my transactions are using credit card.
Extra. So let's talk about the money, the financial implications of it. So back in 1989, Michael LaBouffe wrote a book called How to Win Customers and Keep Them for Life. Now, you could say, Bob, 1989, that's a long time ago. These statistics are no longer relevant. And it could be argued that these statistics are not relevant anymore. I would argue that the statistics I'm going to share with you are more relevant now because people have more shopping options now than they had in 1989. So that when you listen to these statistics, I'm encouraging you to think about them in the context of there's even more competition now than there was when these statistics were, when the studies were done, when the statistics were, when the findings were presented. So in this book, Michael LaBouffe, after his studies, said that 96% of people who have a problem with a small purchase or a service at a store don't complain about it. You know, it's just a pain in the neck to complain if it's not a big deal.
Look, these people are complaining anyway about the fact that they got to pay for the charges. So my thing is, hey, if they got an issue, they can always pay with Zelle.
Is to build a bucket filled with customers, right? J. Conrad Livens is to have as few holes in the bucket as possible. And if you let somebody go for 3%, that's a big hole in the bucket. And so I just think that when you think that way, when you think about 3% as a cost, not as a cost of doing business, not as an investment in letting your customers pay the way that they want to pay, you may be saving pennies, but it's costing you dollars.
$6,000 isn't pennies anymore.
Because at the end of the day, a customer doesn't represent a transaction. A customer represents
$6,000 isn't a penny anymore. And then if you multiply that per technician, if each one of your technicians is bringing in 200,000 or $250,000, and that's, you guys are laughing at me on, that are in the business, because their service tickets are $2,000 on up. If they bring in less than $2,000 on service tickets, they got some splaining to do. All right. And then they'll do 2 calls a day. So they're typically on the low end bringing in $4,000 minimum. They're bringing in like 4,000. And that's going to be like per technician. Now, what Higgins Appliance Repair has to say, but that's residential. We're not doing any of that on this end. So it doesn't work that way over here.
a relationship and a lifetime value. So
you're gonna have the lifetime customer as long as you fix
this conversation, and those statistics help you think about your business and whether you are going.
Okay, guys, if you guys
let me show you some of this was sort of like from Instagram and stuff.
Or
people see it, they freak out.
Just to let you. Okay, guys, if you guys go to this place right here, expect to bring cash because they're going to charge you if you use your credit card or your debit card.
Expect to bring cash.
Just to let you.
All right, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. This is Mark the Mentor. Talking with a call in.
In today's time,
this is in regards to adding employees.
It's a lot of distractions and
the things we have to deal with now.
Day where people needed, like you had to find a job or else you would be broke. Like with the gig economy and
Mark the Mentor already gave me authorization 6 months ago.
A person can walk out on your job and cut on a bunch of apps and be delivering for Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub and Roadie. They'll still make money. So like as back in the day where the power was in your hand as the employer, the role is reversed. The power is in the employee's hands now, and they pretty much.
So this is what I'm showing you guys is a video from Mark the Mentor. This gentleman that's in the gray t-shirt. Oh damn, the video is going the other way. Sorry. The gentleman in the gray t-shirt. He wants to talk about scaling. He wants to talk about adding employees. And the gentleman with the microphone in his face, that's Mark the Mentor. This is his show. And he's providing the viewpoint on an established company and the issues that they have with not only acquiring not only acquiring employees, but then retaining them, because the way you used to discipline your employees, it doesn't work anymore. So you have to develop something different.
Know it. Like you can't, like some of the tactics that I used to use back in the day, it wouldn't fly today. You can't just threaten a person's job or punish them, because my thing was, I would, if you piss me off, I'd give you a week to think about it. Mm-hmm. And that was my scare tactic with people didn't.
Sorry about that. I had a little pause in there. I didn't get a chance to
get on my bad side because
edit that out.
Like, you're gonna go a week without work, so you're gonna lose a week of revenue. You can't like that. That doesn't work today. You give a person a week off, they're already signed up with a multitude of apps, and now they're flirting with that. You're playing.
What's up, Commercial Kitchen Chronicles? I saw you on Instagram, man.
What's that game called? Or Devil's Advocate, whatever that game is called, where now they're signing up and they could go sign for a bunch of apps and they could be making more money running a multitude of apps than what you were paying them. Then when you call them back after that week, they don't want to come back now. You see what I'm saying? So back then, these opportunities weren't present, right? So now, if I were building a business as far as like a cargo van business, I would look for people that have responsibilities. Like
And this is something I got into this whole conversation with my father about this, because my father was completely lost about this whole thing. I say, hey, Pop, you can't treat your employees like you once did. You just, the things you used to do, it's not going to work. When you go ahead and you cut somebody's pay or you send them home early, they just they just turn on the phone app and they go ahead and deliver some pizzas on the way home. And, they've already supplemented their income. They call off of work. They'll go ahead and do a couple of Uber Black ride shares. They'll deliver Chinese food. They'll do small pack delivery for Uber and stuff like that. So the game has changed.
Single mothers.
Yeah, there's a lot more money floating around out there now.
Pay. These are the people that I know, are going to come to work. These are the people that I can rely on, because pretty much everybody now is fair weather. So
yeah.
Right. Another question for you. As a entrepreneur.
So this is over with, but so that's over with. But yeah, that is one of the greatest issues. I have people call me very often and they say, hey, Mike, how the hell, they say, hey, man, is this business scalable? Yeah, Brother Charles is right. If you give them a week to to think about it, about them not acting right, about them not doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's going to be extremely hard to get them back. And even still, when you get them back, they have a little funky attitude and all, you better off just cutting that one loose. Problem is, we're dumping 80,000 into each trainee until they become proficient. Till that little birdie could fly away. If you add up every time you bought them something to eat, every time you had to pick them up, every time you had to slow down your work, every time you had to go back over work that they have done, if you add all that up, the time you spend training, the material you give them, your time is valuable. So if you're actually spending time to train somebody, or if you're having an employee train your new hires, there's still a cost to that. You add up all those labor hours, yours included, the training material, everything else like that, the space that you need to do this training in, providing phones for them, uniform. Some people provide tools for their techs. You're running into 85 grand. You're running into 85 grand to get your people trained up. Hold on 1 second here. What the hell happened with this? All right, let me remove that. So there's a lot of cost to this, and it's just, everybody wants to know what's the answer. The real answer is everybody's still working on it. We're still trying to find out what works best. What's the best carrot that you could use along with that damn stick? All right. Dr. Pepper being number 2. So I've told you time and time again. All right, so here it is. Oh, so as of last year, Dr. Pepper has been considered number 2. Oh, so here it is right there. Nation News says that Dr. Pepper tied Pepsi as number 2. And then a month later, Dr. Pepper overtook Pepsi. Now, I've mentioned this to you guys time and time again. So they have a lot of viral things. Yeah, Dr. Pepper's popularity. So let me see if I can. None of it. Here we go. This is the new CEO. Here it is. So Dr. Pepper, once again, fair use. Dr. Pepper is $15 billion.
Every meal
should be a moment
I
to
didn't get a chance
savor.
to record
we're
this
ready
one.
to make sure each one
Brings more of us to the table.
You may not know it, but all the drinks here are owned by just one company,
What's
Keurig
that?
Dr. Pepper.
We have a dawn to dusk portfolio that literally covers every demand space and every need that a consumer has in terms of beverages.
KDP generated $15 billion in revenue last year.
And that's Ghost.
We put the consumer at the center of everything we do here at Keurig Dr. Pepper.
With both legacy brands like Green Mountain and newer brands like Ghost Energy, they've invested a lot to keep up.
What up, y'all? I got my hands on the new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
All right, let's try this.
Having that relationship with the consumer, understanding what's important in their lives, understanding the cultural moments that really define that younger
coffee business is cooling off. Can Keurig Dr. Pepper brew up another wave of growth?
So they have diversified. Keurig Dr. Pepper has diversified, and that's why I told you guys to go ahead and jump down.
Yeah, this is one that I really like, although I always get the bottles. So the big news is that Dr. Pepper has just gone to number 2 among all soft drinks.
Dr. Pepper is now number 2. So are you on board? Are you with Team Dr. Pepper? They have this huge portfolio. And that's why I told you guys before, jump down with that. They are not focusing on service like Pepsi was. You'll notice a trend with that. When they dabble in the land of text, they end up suffering, right? If that is not their main focus, like TWC, Partstown Holdings, it's more than, it's number 2, it's 50. Do you not see that? Do you, brother, do you not see $15 billion? $15 billion. It's more than just sounds promising. What I'm trying to explain to you is they do not have a service arm. Keurig Dr. Pepper is focusing on getting the drinks to the people. Pepsi lost their way. They got all wrapped up in renting out Hoshizakis and then doing the PMs on Hoshizakis. And they forgot, oh damn, yeah, we need to give the people the damn beverages. So Pepsi thought it was cute. Okay, we're gonna lock them in. We're gonna give them the ice machine. We're gonna give them the soda dispenser. We're gonna give them a beverage center, and then they're gonna love us. No, they've fallen behind freaking Keurig Dr. Pepper. Keurig Dr. Pepper. Hold on, let me show you where Keurig Dr. Pepper is. They're everywhere. Hold on 1 second. Keurig Dr. Pepper. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on. Locations nationwide. So they have, Keurig Dr. Pepper has distribution centers all over the all over the United States. All over. So let me see if I can, oh damn, this is for jobs. I don't want that. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm showing you. Yeah, it's Keurig Dr. Pepper is $15 billion. So they need to keep that train on the tracks. How do you do that? How do you keep the train on the tracks? You go to the map. So this is the Keurig Dr. Pepper near me, where they have, I've gone live from there before. They have this warehouse that's like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You could look down as far as your eye can see, and there is nothing but refrigerators that need service that are relatively new. Some are CO2, some are 290, and some are still 134A. So let me see here. Snapple. Let me see if I could find some more Keurig Dr. Pepper. Let me see here. See locations. Boom. All right. So this is a little better. This is a little better. This is just Texas. This is just Texas. This is where they are positioned. Think of it more like Amazon. So these are the warehouses where they are. They're having the trucks launch off from these locations. Some of these trucks bring out the refrigerators. So what Keurig Dr. Pepper does currently, when a unit goes out, they'll either call for service. If they can't get service out to a unit in a timely fashion, they'll just bring another unit. So the drivers will just come out. When they bring more beverages, they will go ahead and also bring the trucks. Every single one of their units is designed to drop off beverage units. Let me see. I'm going to have to search this area. So all of these are Keurig Dr. Pepper warehouse locations. Look at this, right outside of Atlanta. And you will find these not just these locations, but you will find their units everywhere. Because every time I focus in on a unit, on a location, on a state, it has to. Let me go back. There we go. Let me focus in and then search this area. Oh, let's see here, Florida. So even with them having these warehouse locations, so this is where they're picking up the units, dropping them off, in the surrounding areas. Back and forth. The situation I have is at times they will go ahead and pick up units and bring back to the warehouse, and then I can work on them at the warehouse. Other than that, you'll work on these units where they are. Some people don't want you to work on the unit right there. They're like, no, get this out of here. Bring me a new one. I want a new unit. And then Keurig Dr. Pepper has no problem bringing them another unit. They just want to make sure the one they got is fixed so that they can put more beverages in it and get it the hell back out in the wild. So as you see, the more I keep going, Snapple is Keurig Dr. Pepper. Just so you guys know, in case you had any questions, any doubt, that is them. So the more I dig into it, the more it's there. That's the vending machine supplier. So these people have the machines. And you might just have to go to these different vendors to go ahead and fix the machine, because you are doing this for the different manufacturers that have this account. They need this done. So you have about 4 manufacturers that are supplying units for Keurig Dr. Pepper. Let me see. Well, let me go a little further. Oh yeah, that's Mississippi. Like I said, the more I zoom in, I've actually had to go to the video game. The people that make have the claw games and all that kind of stuff. They will have these machines there as well, because they'll have some units and they're authorized to supply it, and they're a vendor, and so what Keurig Dr. Pepper, Coke, and Pepsi does, they give these people the machine for free. They give the, as long as they place a certain volume of orders, they'll make sure they get a machine. So everywhere you are, that is where they are. Keurig Dr. Pepper. Keurig Dr. Pepper. All right, let me see here. Revenue for 2024. And like I said before, it is $15 billion. And they had an increase. So certain things, and hit the like button, people. Hit the like button for a brother. Certain things in economic downturns, they don't just survive, they thrive. Unilever, Keurig Dr. Pepper, Coke, Pepsi, those are the blue chips. Procter & Gamble, these different companies actually make a lot of money. They make a lot of money when the economy is not doing so hot. So how many of you have actually started doing work for some of the Keurig Dr. Pepper vendors? Let's see in the chat. Let's see in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you have started. Put a 0 if you'd like to know a little more information about it. Yes, but I just told you it is 4 different manufacturers that are supplying for Keurig Dr. Pepper. But I'm curious, Kofa, what is your option? That's kind of interesting. What is your option? Let me see, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. There it is. So you say, do they pay well? Everything is based on your skill level. Now, once again, I am talking about adding technicians. So my message, okay, so you guys would like to know a little bit more. My message is about growth. All right, when you look at the number of years that we have left, when you look at setting yourself up for the future, exactly what I said. What are your options? So you say, do they pay well? Pay well compared to what? What are you making right now? What are you making right now? As I said before, a lot of these different calls, they lead to different clientele. When you're called in to go ahead and take care of a unit at a sandwich chain, now you're right. So it is a completely different ballgame. You are not, the goal isn't working for that manufacturer. The goal is acquiring new customers. Now, if I'm going to bring on, let's say if I'm going to bring on 2 people, if I'm going to bring on 2 techs, I need to have something for them to do. Even with having them doing, each one of them having them do 1 job on a Keurig Dr. Pepper account would mean that pays for them for the day. All right, that'll pay for them. It'll be break even. It'll be a wash. Well, why do I do it then? Do it because I'm selfless. Hold on, where is it? Where is it? Because y'all missed it anyway. This
Life got you feeling down? Baby Billy's Health Elixir will lift you up. Heal the spirit to heal the body.
Colds, flus, streps, even COVIDs, every disease cured with ease by this blessed formula based on ancient scripture. You just drink this tasty coconut silkiness every morning, and that's it. Done. $100 for a 1 month jug. Additional jugs, only $65 a pop. And I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department, lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless. And I want to heal as many people as the dear Lord lets me.
Baby Billy's Health Elixir, a miracle in a bottle. Not approved by the FDA.
I do it because I'm selfless, all right? So having a floor, a base, and this is something, Habco is a supplier for Dr. Pepper. You're not going to be working for Dr. Pepper. Every one of these manufacturers has a Dr. Pepper account. So they're supplying the refrigeration unit that Dr. Pepper is putting Ghost drinks in. They're putting all of the coffee drinks and all it, that's already bottled. All that stuff. I bought some today. I went into Target and, I bought not the Ghost energy drink, but I bought the Ghost protein mix, the whey powder. And that was me putting some of my money into Keurig Dr. Pepper, right? Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and do this here. So I've given you some Keurig Dr. Pepper product refrigeration. It's a leading company. Let me see here what they got here. Well, here, let me flash the brands. I'll flash the brands. Keurig Dr. Pepper. So these are the brands: Orange Crush, Strawberry Crush, all that, Cream Crush, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, Sunkiss, all the Canada Dries, A&W, Yahoo, the Venom drinks. I don't like that Bai stuff. Ba, or whatever the hell they call it. Stewart's, I like Stewart's. Big Red, IBC root beer. I love IBC root beer. I haven't drank Nantucket's in a long time. They used to, Chipotle used to carry Nantucket nectar. The Margaritaville mix, and Penafel. Oh, roses. My daughter likes roses. Those are the drinks and the syrups. Mystic. I used to drink Mystic iced tea and all that stuff. The coffee. So they're carrying Cinnabon drinks in the machines. Let me see what else they had. The Krispy Kreme drinks in the machines. Caribou coffee in the machine. So you'll actually see a standalone Caribou coffee refrigerator. The Lacombe, they actually have some small Lacombe refrigerators, things like that. Mott's, make sure you guys can see it. Oh yeah, the C4, Evian. I actually had some Evian refrigeration units I had to service in CVS. Okay, I had no idea. This is expensive as hell. This Electrolit. You'll see this carried in a ton of gas stations. I think it's up to $5 a bottle now for that electrolyte drink. Oh, they carry the Tazo tea. A lot of places will have the Tazo tea in the bottle. Oh, let's see here. Black Rifle. Black Rifle is disgusting. But yeah, I do. They actually carry some individual Black Rifle coffee. It comes in a can. I will actually buy some of it at the dollar store. So you have a number of the Kofu is refrigerators. So the 3 common refrigeration, one is a controller. 2 is a frost up issue. 3 is the LED lights. Those are 3 common issues. Here are 3 other common issues. Evaporator fan motor, clogged up drain pan, LED lights, clogged up drain pan, and evaporated fan motor. There's another 3. You want to give me I'll give you another 3 clusters. This is commercial. You asking questions about commercial refrigeration is nonsensical because it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. So you eat what you kill. When your skills are up to par and you're able to just do a basic, you don't have to do seal system. So this is a very typical thing. So they'll ask you, and the reason why I bring this up is because each and every one of you, if you are looking to grow, if you're looking to add on technicians, if you're looking to add more business, this is the time of the year. Why is it the time of the year? It's the time of the year because everybody and their mother is out doing AC work. So if you're a company that is trying to grow and you don't do air conditioning, every single company out there is struggling. Everybody is struggling. I called the TOSA because I'm following by example. What I've told you guys to do, I actually follow myself because I'm trying to add the 2 new techs. And I called a TOSA and I said, hey man, what's the deal? It got 90 something degrees outside the other day. I didn't get a single call from you guys. What's the word? I got a nice girl from a TOSA that explained to me that I was on the he's too expensive list. So some of you might be on the do not call, they are too expensive list. You can get off of I got myself off of the do not, off of the he's too expensive list. Right? Yeah, but so you have to make a decision. If you're going to do a DCNF, these accounts are not for you to get rich off of. These accounts are for you to have a base, a floor, a means for you to acquire customers. That is their purpose. It is far more difficult for me to tell you guys how to package your business, how to approach potential clients, how to win potential clients, and then how to keep them. 90% of you are not capable of doing that at this point in time. Yeah, I get you. I understand you tracking, and like the COFL is a very good example, right? The COFL is a good example. The COFL is just learning. So it's okay for you to go out on a unit for Keurig Dr. Pepper. It's okay for you to go out on a unit for a TOSA, for Dukers, for Everest. That's perfectly fine. You go out on a unit like that, and then you're not able to do, a seal system or something like that. That's not a big deal. They need a rapid response. They need somebody to show up ASAP. And it's okay that you aren't able to do the seal system part. Why? This is not residential. They're able to go ahead and they have manpower. They're able to go ahead and extract that unit from the field. Then they're able to go ahead and put another unit in, which is why I said they got the Raiders of the Lost Ark. They got warehouses that are just jam-packed full of units that need service work done. So the COFL asked a very good question. How can I find out if I am too expensive? they will tell me the max they want to pay. It isn't about the max they want to pay. That you're falling for the okie doke. That's what happened to me. They told me, Atosa told me, this is a very important customer. I need you to come out and take care of this for me same day. I said, yeah, I'll do that for you. It was a Friday too. I said, I'll do that for you, but it's going to cost you. He said, I don't care. I'll pay. This is a very important client for us. I need this fixed. They paid. I got the money. Atosa paid me. Not a problem. But then Atosa flagged me. They put me on the he's too expensive list. So after a while, I said, man, I haven't had any calls. I said, what the hell's going on? So I called up and I asked them what's the deal? You have to, these are people just like you and I. And you got to call over and say, hey, man, I haven't heard from you guys. What is the deal? And they'll tell you, hey, look, we have problems with the work you've been doing, or we have problems with the amount of time it takes you to get out there, or we've had problems with the total charge. And if they have a problem with the amount that you are charging, you have to find out what is their procedure. So everybody has a not to exceed, NTE. And so on certain calls you might have, there are people that you have to call, and then they will tell you who those people are that you need to get in touch with at Atosa, at Dukers, at Everest, that will then make the final decision on do they want to pay you this extra money or not. They will then take the time, they'll call the other service companies, see what their timeline is, where they can come out and take care of it. And when they find out that they can't get anybody else, especially this time of the year, is when you crank that bill way up. This is the time of year that you can maximize your numbers, right? Yeah, of course they want seal system. That's everywhere. Everybody wants seal system, but they don't have enough. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants Christmas every morning when they wake up. Everybody wants that. Doesn't mean they're gonna get it. I got pictures full of these warehouses that I've actually seen myself, that I've been to, and they beg me to work on them, where it's just full. It is just full of units because nobody else has time to do it. So if you can't do it, then you can't do it. But they are, as long as somebody can come out and take every unit that is frosting up, right? Change the settings on the controller so that unit's not frosting up, clear the drain so that unit isn't frosting up. A unit that is frosting up will behave, well, it will have the same temperature signature as a unit with a sealed system issue. Fun fact, there are a number of these that we cannot do. The CO2 units we're not doing anyway. You're talking about these people, they are not technicians. The people that you're talking to are not technicians. So they are going off of what they hear in their corporate meetings. Oh yeah, we need more people to do these seal systems. It sounds nice to them, right? But what happens when you actually attempt to do a seal system? The customer goes, whoa, wait. You're not going to do that in here. You're going to have certain, remember, these are convenience stores and things like that. And they might be in a high rise. They might be in certain grocery stores, convenience stores. It might be a store within a store. It might be another little convenience store inside of a hospital or a hotel. It might even be another convenience store inside of a school. They're doing something for, whatever the case may be. And they might have a policy against doing seal system. So they can ask for whatever they want to. The client is going to say otherwise. And then when you lighten up and you got to spread all this stuff out everywhere, customers like, they got to bring me another one. You just let the customer call. You're going to get paid regardless. It's just the fact that, you came out there They're going to pay you for that. Doesn't matter if the customer denies it. Say, hey, look, it's going to take me a while. You know, hey, if I'm going to do the seal system, you're going to be down for like another week. Oh, no, my friend. Oh, no. Yeah, they can do that. Just call them back. This is the time of year when it is all hands on deck. This is the time of year where it's all hands on deck. You have a ton of guys who are not doing seal system. Why? Because they refuse to do R290. You have all these guys that are 134 till they die. They got all these neck tattoos, talking about 134A, R22 on the side of their neck, all this other stuff. They're not touching it. So they can ask for it. They can put you on hold. You just have to call back and say, hey, look, man, you need to take me off of this hold. Well, there really isn't. All right. So, well, there really isn't. The 608, there is no, let me let the cat out the bag. There is no real license for natural refrigerant. The whole reason behind the license, was because technicians like myself and others back in the day, we were doing sweep charges. You know, we had a burnout on the compressor. You would just cut the system and let all the gas out. There was no recovery back in like 92. There was no recovery. 94. There was no recovery. That was something that wasn't an industry standard until much, much later. So R290 is propane. So you can't have a license for it. The reason why you can't have a license for it, because it is chemically the same makeup as barbecue gas. The R600 is is butane. So only thing that's different with our gas versus barbecue gas is the contaminants have been removed, the moisture has been removed, and there's no odor added to it. So if you ask for a license on R290, you then have to ask for a license for barbecue gas. If you ask for a license on R600, you now legally have to ask for a license to purchase butane. And you could just go to any Home Depot, any Ace, you know, and buy butane. No, that is false. Oh, yeah. Now, all right, come on, man. You use your brain now. Use your brain. No, that part is not true. You can release R290 inside of a building. It has to be a slow release, and it cannot be around any flammable items. Right. Then you can't sell as much butane. Right. You can't sell as much butane. You can't sell as much propane. Right. So it's a reason why it's called a naturally occurring refrigerant. It is a naturally occurring refrigerant. So the Kofo, you haven't done any research, any work. You have done zero freaking work. R290 is a natural refrigerant, also known as propane. So it is perfectly fine to release into the atmosphere. It is part of what makes up the atmosphere. Let's see here. So R290 and R600, you could actually release the R717. R717 is ammonia, but it's in certain instances it's toxic. You can't do that kind of stuff. So hold on a second. But there are a number of videos. I have been dealing with R600, R290 since, well, my daughter is 13, so for about like 15, 16 years. So Brother Dexter, yeah, deregulation. Brother Royce. So I met Brother Dexter at LeBaire training in Arizona. And Dexter was trying to figure out, we just talked a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago. He was like, man, what was that thing about what we had to go to LeBaire training for? And I had to remind him, hey, man, it was because hardly anybody else was using R600. Every now and then, a unit from Europe would get shipped to the US, on accident or because they had to meet a certain order number. And then when they did have a problem, they had to send us out with the lock ring, and then we had to use the lock ring to fix those units up. And it was Chicago had some 600 units, Miami had 600 units, New York had our 600 units, and in LA. So they wanted to make sure we were all trained up on it. And then they brought us down there to Arizona to ATCO, and this was about 14 years ago. So I've been doing that. I've been doing R290. These things are not new. The rest of the world has been dealing with that. Once they went away from R12 and 22, R12, instead of 134A, the rest of the world went with 600 and 290. And so we've just now caught up on this side of the world. We've just now caught up. So we're in a global market. So now it's a lot easier for a manufacturer that's in Istanbul to make a fridge, use the same damn gas in units that they ship all around the world. So no longer do they have to make a unit just for the US because the US wasn't using R290. No more. So it actually made people a lot profitable. It streamlined everything. And that is why they will never go back. And that's why guys go, oh, they're going to go back one day. They're never going back. They're put the crack pipe down, Pookie. They're never going back. They're never going back. It is what it is. All right, let me see here. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else. All right, so, oh yeah, I want to show you guys about some of the Keurig Dr. Pepper, QBD. Let me see what I find. So as you saw before, QBD makes for Keurig Dr. Pepper. Let me see if I can find some damn layouts. Habco. And I'm looking at Dr. Pepper, but they actually come up, as I said before, under the other drinks. Ghost, 7-Up, under those different banners, you will find a lot more of these units. Every single one of them, they have a separate division that is catering just to Pepsi, just to Coke, just to Keurig Dr. Pepper. They said beverage bottling, that's their thing. C-store, food service, micro marts, and in the pharmacies. All right, so this is Habco. All these different guys, that's what they're catering to. So it's not just Keurig Dr. Pepper. Like I said, the Habco is one of my favorites. Why? Because they have the cassette unit. You don't have to do there is no seal system work on the Habco. Habco sends out a brand new cassette that you just plug and play, pull out the old one, put in the new one. Of course, you're going to have the wires for the temperature controllers, the wires for the thermocouples, all that kind of stuff. Habco, you got Embera. So Embera is another one that is providing units. Like I said, hell, Mexico comes up first. But you got Embera. Embera owns 4 different brand names in the United. Well, yeah, I might as well say that. They own 4 different names, or they're associated with 4 other names in the United States. All of these manufacturers that I mentioned, these are manufacturers. They're not just brands. They are actual manufacturers. They have parts. They have tech support departments. Make sure you guys are able to see. Oh, let me see here. Ojeda. Ojeda Refrigeration. Because there's no J, it's Ojeda. So they're another one. You know what? I have yet to do any work for these bastards. I do work for everybody else. I have yet to do work for them. Still no Ojeda. So that's a nice little convenience store. This, as you can see, this was in a I was trying to show, that was like a convention center. Family owned since 1948. So Ojeda has some Keurig Dr. Pepper accounts. They got some Coke accounts. So there's Spartan, South Carolina. They have, Coke, Keurig Dr. Pepper. So they have accounts with all of them. Because remember, Keurig Dr. Pepper does not make the refrigerators. They don't make them. Who makes them are these people. This is who make the units. So you got Ojeda. Let me see here. Let me see who else am I missing. Every now and True does. Yeah, True makes these units. Let's see if I can pull it up. So yeah, True is also used with Keurig Dr. Pepper. They're used with Pepsi. They're used with Coke. Oh, let me see here. And now True is really really keeping a tight grip on their units, because they have the system that they have implemented to the ice machines. Come to find out, that's what they've been putting into these units that they use for these merchandisers for the Keurig Dr. Pepper account. So when they get the read back from the system that the temperature is high, evaporated fan motor is not running, True gets notification about that first, and then they decide on who goes out. So that's some of those things. So the COFO says, would you say that most of the units I will work on for the manufacturers you just spoke about will either be DeCofo, you do not listen. You do not listen at all. Like zero. You listen zero. You will have CO2. You will have CO2, which you will not be able to do sealed system on CO2. Coke, well, not Coke, but Dr. Pepper, Pepsi doesn't even do. They don't do CO2. CO2 refrigeration system for, let me see, Embera. So CO2 is, I want to say it's damn near 50%. It's damn near 50% in these units. So you have R290. You will have some R600, some of the smaller merchandisers, especially for core water. When you see those little small bullet ones, they might be about 18 inches, not even 18 inches. They might be about 12 inches wide and about 4 feet tall. And then they might have like colorful sides and things like that. You'll find that most of those units will be R600. Your larger ones will be R290 or CO2. So when it is CO2, you are not working. See right here, Coca-Cola parts for Embera, VRO6 CO2. You are not allowed to work on the CO2 units. They're going to ask you. No one is working on the CO2 units. So you got the R744. That is the CO2. Let me see what Vumi Supply is doing. So I guess this is for, what is this for? I guess this is a refrigerant for, well, this is the CO2. So the CO2, yeah, all right. So this is the CO2, $34 from Vumi. I actually purchased from them. So this is, you know, for Embera units. So CO2 is high pressure. What are their pressures? I think they're like 400 psi on up. Let's see. Let us see. All right. What was that? 744A. I just say CO2. The reason why refrigeration system for Embera system design pressures. And any one of the manufacturers will give you this information. Any one of them will give you this information. But I believe it's like 400 PSI on up. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're saying 1,000 PSI. But this might be for a much larger, well, no. So they're saying it's 1,000 PSI. Typical CO2 range from 120 PSI to 1,300. So we are not working with the CO2. I'm currently giving you guys information on how to work with CO2, different ones, like Copeland has classes. Some of the walk-in manufacturers are currently giving classes. The beer, Zero Zone is giving some CO2 classes, things like that. So once again, like I said, here is damn me. Oh, see, this is Emerson, so that's good. Damn it, them and this freaking music.
CO2 operating pressures are quite different than a 404A or even a 410A system. They're significantly higher. And service technicians get kind of freaked out when they hear about high operating pressures of CO2 systems. But it's important to understand where those pressures occur within a system to give the contractor a level of comfort. So really on a CO2 system, you start at the medium temperature compressors discharging out onto the roof at the gas cooler. On a 95-degree ambient day, that pressure will be around 1,400 PSI. In a stainless steel, typically discharge line coming back into the building. Once that pressure comes into the building, now it's going through an expansion valve into a receiver/flash tank, and that pressure is around 550 pounds. Again, higher than they're used to dealing with, but much lower than the 1,400 pounds. Then the liquid line, 550 pounds. Then you get to a medium temperature evaporator. That medium temperature evaporator at about plus 23 Fahrenheit is 425 PSI.
There we go. That's what I was
thinking. And the low temp evaporators operating around minus 20 Fahrenheit will be at 200 PSI. So you can see there's 4 different pressure levels. They are higher than we're used to seeing. However, proper training, proper tools really mitigates the fear of high pressures with the CO2 systems. For more information, visit climate.emerson.com/CO2 solutions.
Wrong. Inaccurate. I just got through telling you, brother. Decoful. All right, what he was just explaining is that any system is CO2. I've actually, hold on, SMEG, beverage fridge, CO2. So SMEG has some CO2 units. I've actually worked on some. SMEG has some CO2 units. They got some ammonia units. Why? Because Europe uses CO2. They use CO2. Once again, it is a naturally occurring refrigerant. Naturally occurring refrigerant. Here it is right there. Hold on a second. That's for that. But they have, let's see here. CO2, I just showed you. Hold on a second. Oh, shoot. All right. Embera. CO2 fridge. So I know you're thinking that, you know, CO2 for rail cars, CO2 for walk-ins. No, CO2 can be used on any of these refrigerators. You need to do your own due diligence. You need to look this stuff up for yourself so that you know what is going on. So Fogel, I did this. Fogel is owned by Hoshizaki, not Hashizaki, Hoshizaki. It is owned by Hoshizaki. Let's see here. Oh, where is? Let me see if they're going to tell us what the refrigerant is. So we can find out what the refrigerant is. I told them I want a CO2 unit. Let's see what they got on this spec sheet. Oh, damn. Sorry about that. You guys couldn't see that. Okay. So any of these units that you see here, yeah, they could be CO2, they could be 290, they could be 600A. Where the hell is the refrigerant? So you'll notice that they leave off the refrigerant on all of these because it is dealer's choice. So they leave this thing off because they might acquire some units. Ah, there we go. See, this one even says 134A, and so this is old. That's old. All right, hold on one second. Let me give you, hold on. CO2. I should say 744. That's probably what I should do. CO2 glass freezer, CO2 tank in the fridge. Let's see here. I don't think these are using CO2, but CO2 is a very common refrigerant. Let me just do this. Let me do this. R744 refrigerant. So here it is right there. Using CO2, R744 is a refrigerant in beverage fridges, not walk-ins, not rail cars. You can also use CO2 now in beverage fridges. It is not a simple swap for traditional refrigerants because of the high pressure. They're not using aluminum, so the evaporators are stainless steel and stuff like that. So you're not going to run into the same situation. CO2 is odorless and can displace oxygen, which is why it makes it dangerous. So if you're in a particular area, let's just say it's in a dock and you're working and that CO2 comes out of the unit, let's say it was sealed before, it didn't have a leak in it, and you pierce the system, you can actually end up with a pocket of CO2 and you could actually die. So if you're in an area where that CO2 is pooled, it is CO2 and ammonia. You know, that's why they said, you know, ventilation systems are critical. You are not going to be working on these R744 units out in the field. So the COFL, you need to do your research. You need to do your research. What are the most common applications? Commercial and industrial refrigeration, supermarkets, compact systems, cascade systems, and transportation, like I was talking about with the rail cars and stuff like that. So let me do this. Let me see if I think there are some true units. R744. Let me see if you guys are still with me. If you guys are still with me or you've checked out. Don't worry, I'm gonna end this soon. Yeah, hit the like. Yes, please. Yes, please. Hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. All right, so let's see here. Let me go back. This thing keeps pulling up the same thing. Oh, natural refrigerants. Hold on one second. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Oh. All right, let me see here, because I'm pretty sure I saw using CO2. I thought I run into a unit. But anyway, all right, so we're going to start to wrap this up because the COFL got me going down the damn rabbit hole. But there are a lot of Embera beverage fridge using R744. Let me see here. Let me do for sale. Okay, so that's a lot better. So let me show you what this looks like. Visit site. Let's see how this works out. So here's an Embera unit. Hopefully this one won't let me down and it will show us what the makeup is. Damn. No, they're not showing us spec sheets. Let's see what we got here. Let's see, because I have run into a large number of Embera units that are CO2, R744. And like I said, you will not work on those. They're not having us work on those. Period. And they haven't decided on what they're going to do about having us service these CO2 units just yet. And once again, they've left off the refrigerants. They left it off. Damn. I'm sorry. I wish. Oh, let's see here. Oh God, the COFL with another damn question. What's the strangest refrigerant application or use you ever worked on? So the strangest one I ever worked on was the SMEG ammonia unit. It was very weird, but like I said, they don't have you do any work on the sealed system because it is ammonia, and it was just very weird. It doesn't. When it's small, when the units are small like that for beverage, they can't handle a lot of interaction, should we say? So if you're going in and out of that unit, like I don't know why Smeg brought those units over here to this freaking country. Customers would complain that the fridge wasn't cold enough, and that's because ammonia is a lot better for much larger units. Ammonia and CO2 is what you're going to find in those Vought units, Howell units, and stuff like that for those large ice machines. But the Kofu, you are a generation away. You are a decade away from anything remotely other than the normal. So work on your basics, brother. You just do drains, condenser fan motors, evaporator fan motors, controllers. That is all you need to worry about. That is the vast, and in the LED lighting. That is what you need to focus on, not what is unusual, unless this is just some kind of like voyeuristic type of thing you got going on. Because that's kind of like, what does it sound like, brother? You're asking these weird things. Hold on here. Let me see if I can find. Let me see. I doubt these beverage air units are. I doubt it. Let me see if I can find one of these. Somebody's going to surprise the hell out of me tonight. See, this is R290. This bastard. I asked for 744 and it keeps showing me R2. Oh, damn, you guys can see that. I asked for CO2 units and they keep showing me R290. But they are out there. These units, the CO2 units are out there, and typically the largest user of these units are for Coke, Pepsi, and Keurig Dr. Pepper. That's the main clientele base on these units. So let me see here. All right, so let me see here. Yeah, brother, I really don't think you're working in this field. I truly do not. I really don't. I really do not. No. All right, but anyway, so enjoy having you here. Very unusual questions. Let's see what else we got here. Any other things that you guys want to know about when it comes to adding on for bringing clientele on? So we talked about the credit card charges. And then we learned tonight that you can actually go up to 4. You actually can go up to 4. So before I did the show, the highest I saw was 3.5. But now, and then let's see who else changed. Some of you chimed in, and yeah, we found that you can actually go up as high as 4% on your convenience charge, bringing in, anywhere from $300,000 on up into your account to help offset these costs. Because other than that, you are literally giving away a month's salary for that employee, right? If they're an entry level employee, that could take care of a whole month. That would be applied to each and every technician, because each technician should be bringing in on their own. So if each technician is just doing, I know that the experienced guys are laughing, but if they're doing just like $100,000, because I don't even want to bring up what they're, fine, I'll bring it up, because you guys would actually have to run into somebody next time you see one of these guys from Smart Care. Next time you see one of these guys from Hobart, ask them to see a service ticket, and you'll find that they are doing, I'll just do these low numbers, they're doing 2,000 a call, 2 calls a day, so that's $4,000 times Oh wait, hold on. Let me see here. All right, so that's $4,000 a day times 5 days a week. So they're bringing in $20,000 a week. And now I know some of the guys are doing more than that. Some of the guys are charging, they'll do, $5,000, $6,000 on a single job. I get that. I understand that. But for these guys that don't know, they haven't even done, they've never worked on, henny penny units that are henny penny pressure fryers. They've never worked on seal system, not seal system. They've never worked on convection ovens, the trivection, even with Unox or any of that other stuff. They've never worked on this kind of stuff. They've never worked on a $100,000 dishwasher. So they don't understand it's $20,000 a week times 52 weeks. These guys are bringing in $1 million. So you do that times 0.03, and that's $30,000. So for the large companies, this makes sense. Why would you give up $30,000? It's just when you're smaller and you don't really think much about that 3% transaction fee. You say, "Oh, I let it go." I come from a time when we used to have 75% of the clients used to pay in cash, and then I come from a time when that cash went to check. Now, hardly, I might get 4 or 5 checks a month. But everybody is doing credit card. Everybody's doing credit card, and actually, I'm going up to like about between 1 and 3 Zelle payments a month. So times have changed. I got to change with it. You might want to do the same thing too. The numbers, this is reverse. So the numbers are telling us that we have to, what the big time guys are doing, actually everybody else needs to do too. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So, this is crazy low number, 85,000 times 0.03. Even that's $2,500. Even that is $2,500. So with that being said, I've officially reworked my sheets. So as of today, every single customer gets charged the fee. And I know some of you guys have always done it, but this is news for some people. That especially these are news. This is news for some people. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I wish you guys the best of luck out there, and I will see you guys on Thursday.
Be relentless. That's it. I'm done.
All right. See you on Thursday. Don't forget, and subscribe to the channel.
There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday, someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday. When I lay my work by, I've a home in the sky. For there will come a payday someday. where no interest comes due or notes to renew. Oh, there will come a payday someday. Here I work every day for such bigger pay, but there will come a payday someday. And the title's not clear to the home I own here, but there will come a payday someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah, what a payday. There will come a payday someday, someday. There will come a payday, hallelujah.